Okay, so your income is at 7,600 a month. You have 58.98 in expenses, bringing your cash flow to about 1702 per month. You
Correct.
have a HELOC. So the HELOC you said was at 10 point, what was that?
375.
375%, and your balance currently is
75K.
75,000. And you currently have a payment of 668. Then you have very little credit cards, and I'm not even going to put those on here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your HELOC being at a balance of 75,000, if you use this like I currently do my own, you would put all of your income into this line. Are you doing that yet?
I just got the HELOC. I got the HELOC in anticipation of this.
Okay, so when all of your income goes in, now it doesn't matter if it's weekly, biweekly, monthly, just whenever you get paid, throw your income into this line.
Okay.
That's going to help keep the balance down to where it's going to help you to keep the interest charges down. So as the 7,600 goes in month one, your balance will probably hover around 67,400. Then your expenses are going to start coming back out. So this is your mortgage payment. All of your living expenses, such as your phone, electric, subscriptions, the other things that you have on your list, like the pet care and all that stuff. So everything would come out of here throughout the month. You know, it's not going to be one big clump. It's going to be as you go to the grocery store or as you buy gas or whatever. So the expenses being at $58.98 here will be reduced here because you're no longer having to pay out this $668. So we're going to reduce the expenses to show this deduction, meaning that your expenses now are $52.30. So $52.30 will come back out of the account every month. So $72,630, and then we're going to add some interest back in. So remember, the bank determines the average daily balance and then multiplies that by whatever your interest rate is, which yours is 10.375. So I'm going to do an average here just to see. So it looks like it's going to run about $620 your first month, approximately. So we would add that in as well. So you're at $73,250 after month one is complete. All of your expenses are out, your interest is paid, you're ready to start into month two, where your income goes in again. So you're going to be at $65,650. So in realistically looking at this, within 1 month, you have pulled your balance down from 75 to 65,650. Now your expenses are going to come back out, as is your interest. So we're going to add your expenses, which are $52.30 back in, and then let's figure some interest as well. So you're going to be at about $601 for interest. Oh wait, this isn't interest, this is your expenses. So your expenses at $52.30, and then your interest at $601 approximately would go back into the account, bringing you back up to $71,481. $71,481. Month three, we're going to do it again. $7,600 for income three. $63,881. Okay, so what does that mean for the payoff on this account? Let's see what you're looking at. You're in month three here. So in less than 32 months, this would be paid off. Now, you wouldn't just let it sit there to work down for 32 months. You're going to start chunking onto your mortgage if that's what you'd like to do.
Yes.
So that you're working down your mortgage as well. Let's talk about your mortgage a little bit. How long have you been in that actual mortgage?
I've had this mortgage since 2011. Well, I've been in the house since 2011. This most recent, I refied 2 years ago.
Okay, so let's talk about the refi. What is your interest rate on that mortgage right now?
Let me see if I put it in here. My interest rate is pretty high. It's like 6%.
Okay.
I'm going to have to pull it up real quick. I thought I had included it.
Because your balance is $292,963. You have a value of $580,000.
3.875%.
Okay, 3.875. You've had it for 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. So you're still paying quite a bit of interest because you're basically at about 75% plus that you're actually paying when you... Have you looked at the mortgage documents to see what you're actually paying in interest?
I have not. I did hear you talk about that. I just looked at my statement.
Okay. So one day if you get a wild hair, you can pull up your actual contract you signed and see what they're actually paying you what they're actually charging you for interest.
Yes.
So you have a couple of ways you could move. Do you know what your credit score is?
About 700. With it may have dropped a little bit with opening the HELOC until I make the first couple of payments, probably.
Right. Okay. So you could look at even moving into a first lien HELOC eventually and paying off the mortgage and the HELOC together, to where now you just have one line that you're working down, and you satisfy the mortgage payment, which would be your first lien HELOC now, every time you put your income in. So you no longer have the monthly mortgage payment that you're having to make either. Have you looked into that or thought about that?
No, this is actually one of the first times that I've heard it explained like that. I mean, I've heard
Okay.
your videos before, but it's the first time I thought it applied to me. I thought that I had to at least get my mortgage down to, I don't know why in my mind, but under 200K for some reason.
Okay. So no, you have $500,000 value on the home, and if you have over a 700 credit score, they will give you a 90% loan to value usually. So what does that mean? Let's see. That means $522,000 may be available to you at this 90%.
Okay.
So when, let's say you're approved for the 90% loan to value, they make your line about $522,000. Of course, they're going to deduct the mortgage out that you owe now, which is right at $293,000. So this is your current mortgage, meaning you'll have $229,000 available for your use as you deem necessary, or to leave it sitting there. So the way I teach lines of credit and the use of them is that they're either used to eliminate debt or for the acquisition of property.
Yes.
So, or, for an investment even in yourself, if that means that you're going to, start infinite banking policies, those are excellent. Maybe you're going to buy another property for rental, or maybe you're going to invest in a program that's going to teach you how to have a passive income throughout your retirement. All of these things are things that I personally use my lines of credit for now.
Okay.
So it's really good to have the access to all of your equity so that you can decide how you want to move forward or not. But it's your equity, your home.
Yeah.
So it's made available to you through these first lien HELOCs, which I think is a great product.
Got you. Now, may
That
I ask
being
you one
said-
question about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that some of my trepidation and fear that I'm trying to get over right now, right, is even with taking out this HELOC, for it was 100K, but I had to draw 75K, is the visceral reaction I had to that money, even going to the bank to request the payoff amount for my credit union for the Porsche. I had a visceral reaction to dealing with those numbers, and it made me very afraid to have access to my equity in that manner. Does that make sense?
Yes, but it's kind of, I like to call it adulting, when we know that we have access to money, but just because we have it, we don't use it, unless it's going to benefit us in some way. Unless, when your kids get older and they need cars, then you have access to this to buy their car, so you're not taking on a car payment. So when you have a goal in mind of where it is you're going with your finances, you have to make sure that your why you are actually wanting to meet that goal matters to you. So do you have, your children, when they get married, you're going to want to do wedding gifts. You're going to want to give them a nice wedding. The vacations you take, it's about your why as to why you want to get out of debt. But what's your goal for it? Is it so that you will be able to do these things comfortably and not have guilt wrapped around them? So when you're thinking about using your line of credit frivolously, then your goal needs to be so strong right there that it stops you, because you're like, no, I'm preparing for this. I don't need that. So, until you get there, you may be, because you have 25,000 available right now. Have you had any strong urges that you want to go out and buy something crazy?
No, not at all.
Okay. So if you have 225,000 available, you're going to have the same feeling, because you're an adult. You know what you need to do and what you don't need to do.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, your HELOC would then come out of here as well, because you do have to pay it off because it's part of the home. So you'd be at 154 for your available amount. And then, like I said, it can just sit here while you're working this down, because as you're doing your income in, pulling your expenses out, you're going to be working this down because you've got plenty of cash flow now. So let's see how long it's going to take you to work it down. So you have 75,000 plus 522. So your balance, oh wait, not 522, 293. That's your current mortgage. So your current balance on the home is 293. You have a $75,000 HELOC balance. So you're at 368,000 that you're going to have to pay off. That would be in the first lien HELOC now. So your income, just like out of the first line we were just talking about, your income would go into this every month. So after your income goes in, then your expenses are going to come out. But the only expenses that you really have now is just your living expenses. I mean, think about it. If you've paid off everything and you've hit a couple of credit cards in here that I left room for with exceeding what your actual payoffs were on the home, you're literally looking at only your living expenses coming out. That being right at $3,000. So we'll add 3,000 for living expenses, and then we're going to add your interest, which these right now are at a 7.75% or less, depending on if you lock the rate in or if you leave it variable. So 360,000, 400 plus 3,000 means that the first month's interest would be about 2362. So you're at 365. 762 from 368, which would be your overall balance after you've paid off everything. Your income going in, your living expenses, and your interest coming out, you're down to 365, 762. This is the way that will revolve. This interest is going to fall out every month because you're putting more in, which is reducing your interest cost. Okay. So let's see how long it's going to take you to pay off the $365,000 using this formula right here. So you're looking at less than 10 years if you use this first lien HELOC, because all of your income is going to go in, all of your expenses will come out. This is literally your only debt in the world currently when this takes effect, and within 10 years you're done with it. So it is a 10-year draw, or with a 20-year payoff period. So we never go into the repayment period. So we want to be done with the HELOC within the 10 years. Any balance that you have can just be refied into another HELOC. So you don't have to stress out about if it's not completely paid off by then.
Nice. Okay. That gives me hope. I mean, a lot of hope, and it has changed my perspective on how I saw my situation. So having it when you need it, I like that.
That is beautiful in itself, because once you lose that paycheck to paycheck feeling that you've got right now, where you feel like that you're running out of money every month, when you realize that you have lines of credit sitting available for your use, whether that be the HELOC, whether it be your credit cards that you have because you're using them just for expenses and then paying those off every month, so you've always got their limits available, it takes away that feeling of I need to be stressed because I'm running out of money. You're not running out of money. And let's say that you go do something frivolous and you spend $10,000. All you have to do is income in, expenses out, and that's going to work back down as well. So you're in a mind frame that's freeing, that went from lack, I never have enough, to I have more than enough. I have over $100,000 available to me in the event something happens, in the event there is an emergency, in the event I get a flat tire tomorrow. I do not have to stress about what I'm going to do for money because I have credit available.
Thank you for this. It has really been helpful. My mindset is already starting to shift now that I see how the numbers can play out. So I'm really excited.
Right. It's very freeing. It's a very different lifestyle. And that lack, the paycheck to paycheck, the mentality of I don't have enough, I never have enough, I can't buy that because I don't have enough, goes away when you realize that you have it and you don't have to use it because you don't feel like you're running out. I mean, the feeling, I feel like you're like me a lot. I'm very much relating to you because that feeling of, when my kids were little and I give the story of the book fair money. I couldn't even give them $5 for the book fair because I did not have it. And when you know now, oh yeah, sure, hon, here's $5 or here's $100. Do you want you and your friends to go to a movie? Here's $50. That's freeing when you don't have that. I don't have enough. I can't do that. We can't do that. The eating out, I mean, I agree. I even talk to myself every day about I need to eat at home more because I spend way too much out. And I do work on that. But am I going to feel guilt just because I want to go out with my family and have a meal? No, those little decisions are not what your problem is. Your problem is your money is going in the wrong places right now. Once you get your money to where it's sitting working on you all month long or working for you all month long, you no longer have that decision making about these little things, going out to eat, buying a new decoration for the home, buying clothes, whatever it is, that goes away because you've lost that feeling of stress wrapped around the emotion that you have of money because you're worried about what your mom was doing, 30 years ago or longer.
Yeah.
All of those emotions are inside of you and they get released when you lose the lack mentality.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate the session.
You are welcome. And if you have any questions that come up that you didn't think to answer, feel free to email me. I'll be glad to help you. But I really think that you're going to do fine. And when you're ready for checking into a first lien, if you get there, feel free to email me and I'll send you lenders links that can help you, answer any other questions that you do have.
That sounds good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a good day.
You too. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.